Welcome everybody to our first ever Leader podcast.
Yep.
Super fun.
Real creative name.
Well, we worked on the name for like 4 seconds, so I feel like this is a pretty good stout. Like
I worked
really
on the graphic longer than
we
the
worked
name.
on the name. Hey, we just wanted to spend some time every week cluttering up your YouTube channel with stuff that might matter to you as a volunteer at Cross Creek Student Ministry.
Yeah, or not, but it's
Or,
really going to be very custom to our volunteers.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in a church somewhere in random Maryland and you want to watch, you're welcome to as well.
Yeah, but you might not know these people.
Yeah, for sure. Or these people.
That's true. So, listen, we would love it to, every single time we get on here, to give some shout outs, to let people know how great they're doing. So our first very first episode, first round of shout outs, we have a lot.
Yeah.
We have a lot of shout outs.
We're catching up.
Yeah.
We're catching up over the last 27 years.
So as we make some shout outs, these leaders are crushing it, probably is what you would say. Who do we need to shout out today?
Listen, I think that we ought to shout out first all our new leaders over the last semester.
That sounds great.
Because we haven't done this in a perfect world, we're doing this in our leader meeting, but we have not been doing it in our leader meeting. So we're just going to backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
And we're going to make this a podcast thing.
There we go.
All right.
All
So
right, new leaders
starting in January 2nd, Leanne Ebert.
Wow, January 2nd.
Right. It feels like 30 years ago. I don't remember a
That
day
was
when
a New
Leanne
Year's
wasn't telling us how to
resolution.
make the website better.
Yeah, and I had to tell her that it is a YouTube
Yeah, right. That's
feature.
not on us. That's not on us. Hey, Leanne Ebert, Morgan Rush, and Jerry Bullard, all January leaders.
Oh, yeah.
Phillips-
That's a great leader class.
Listen,
right
we
there.
have a great semester. As I was writing all this down, I was like, it feels like these people have been leading for a long time. They're all heavy hitters.
Yeah.
So Philip Strange on our safety team.
Yep.
Christy you know your last name, Christy. Mordhorst, sorry.
Do you know her last name?
I do. I'm just not entirely sure how to say it. Plus, it's pretty early today, and I'm still only on my first cup of coffee. Krista Feller, yay to Krista in the cafe. Kayla Moore with our 6th grade guys. Kyra Allen Lowe, who's doing check-in on Wednesdays, which is great.
Yes.
Lots of folks won't choose a Wednesday because of work or whatever, and she just jumped right in.
Yeah, how
It's
dare
been
you guys have
fantastic.
lives?
Yeah. Bring a sack lunch, people. Anne-Marie Leist, who is... Let's just talk about Anne-Marie for a minute. Can we talk about Anne-Marie? Listen.
Sure, this is your show. I'm just living
That lady preps. So let me tell you what happened. So Anne-Marie was doing Cross the Creek Week with us, which is where we invite our 6th graders to cross the creek, better known as a drainage ditch, and become student ministry volunteers, right?
Yeah.
And one of our discussion guides had the wrong reference in it.
Like
And it
Bible
was something
reference?
correct. So it was like, whatever, cut off the head of your youngest goat. Like it was some crazy thing like that. And
I love
when we figured out it was the wrong passage, we corrected it. But she came up with her notes. She was like, I want you to know, it took me about an hour to figure out how to work that passage into the lesson. But here's what I came up with.
Oh my gosh.
It was
and then you're like,
fantastic.
oh, it was actually 2 Corinthians.
Exactly. So, Anne-Marie, appreciate you.
That's funny.
Sarah Walker is back.
Yes.
She's a rerun.
Don't call it a comeback story.
Yeah. So Sarah took a few days off to raise her kid, have a baby.
Days.
Yeah. And now she's back leading with our high school girls.
Yeah,
Love that.
let's go.
And brand new yesterday
Oh,
as
wow.
the recording of this.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. Who knows when this is going to air. But Aaron Gunter jumping on the team.
Shout
Also
out
for
to
Wednesday
Aaron.
night. Yeah, also for Wednesday night check-in.
Let's go.
Yeah,
We're
love it.
finally getting a Wednesday night check-in team.
I know.
That's
It's
great.
almost like Jesus has a plan.
That's great.
Anyway, welcome to all of you over the last semester. Thank you so much for everything you guys do. To those of you who are not first-timers, also thank you to you because your continued commitment to helping students know and follow Jesus is why student ministry happens around here.
Yeah, which is what we're kind of theming today around a little bit is just the importance of showing up.
Yeah.
Right. And we all,
That's why I showed up for work today.
Yeah, a few minutes early.
Yeah. Those of you who know that's not true.
So showing up, right, is this idea of like just simply of like to invest in a student, you have to be there.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
plain and simple.
And wherever there is.
Yeah.
Right.
And so today in particular, we're just going to talk about the idea of showing up predictably.
Yeah.
Right. And what we mean in particular with that is showing up when like you're scheduled
Yeah.
to show up. And most of you do. And that's why this is a fantastic team.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, can we do another shout out about that?
Of course.
Let me tell you something. So, I mean, I don't keep track of absences and stuff like that. CCB does somewhere, but I literally
The Bible
never.
tells you literally not to keep a record of wrongs. So good
I don't know if
job.
the occasional absence is a wrong, but I was just thinking through, like, who have I never had to call for a sub for? And the only person's name I could think of, well, several people who don't tell us when they're going to be gone. So you never get subs. If I don't know you're not going to be gone, I can't get you a sub. Catherine Winstead.
Shout out to Catherine.
Yeah.
Also on the leader graphic. So it was like
Oh, it's like
predestined.
All right. I think Catherine has only missed one time since she started.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
fantastic.
strong.
Through summers, through winters, like she's been there.
The treacherous winters of Texas.
Right, where there's a little bit of rain and it's 40 degrees.
Catherine,
That's my kind of winter.
Shout out to Catherine.
Cheers to you, Catherine.
Also, you should tell Justin to take you on a vacation.
But if it's going to be over a Sunday,
Yeah, just
Don't
make
do
sure
it.
it's a one big day,
yeah, exactly.
which are strategic
They are strategic.
because we know that like connect groups meet come hell or high water.
Yeah.
We used to say that we don't meet on Christmas, Thanksgiving, and 4th of July.
Yeah,
Like those
actually
were
not Thanksgiving.
what were the
Just Christmas, New Year's,
Oh, okay.
and 4th of July.
I thought I knew it was 3 holidays, but it felt
Yeah.
too soon for it
No,
to
we
be New Year's.
during Thanksgiving we have to be here to give thanks.
Yeah, that's
So-
true. But so I thought that was the rule,
Yeah.
and then come find out this summer they're like, "Oh, we're not.
Yeah, July 4th doesn't fall close
It's
enough
not
to a
close
Sunday.
enough to a Sunday,
Yeah.
so the Lord must still work,
Yeah.
and so must you."
Yeah.
But so that being said, that's this year.
Yeah.
2 Sundays
Yeah,
where
2
we
Sundays
don't meet.
off, and the rest of the time it is like the mail. Actually, better than the mail. More
Oh,
predictable. Much more predictable than the mail.
Let's be clear
What's
about that.
super predictable? It's like summer in Texas. It's going to be hot, and
Yeah.
we're going to have connect groups.
Yeah.
And showing up predictably is knowing that Sundays are your day. They're your day to invest in your kids on a regular cycle. There are a lot of other ways to invest in your kids, and we'll be talking about all that in future episodes. But one way to invest in the spiritual growth of your kids is to show up every Sunday predictably.
Yeah. So shout out to all of you who do that, Catherine especially.
Yeah.
Rock
And
star.
also no guilt trips. If you got to be off, we totally get it.
Yeah,
But I
100%.
love it when you're able to be consistent for your students.
Yeah, and that when you show up predictably, like the familiarity is what like starts to catch.
Yeah.
Right. If you're
That's what builds community and relationship.
yeah,
Yeah.
just
It's-
being there.
Yeah. You're the
And-
standard thing.
Yeah, and they can count on you
Mm-hmm.
and rely on you, and it might take a while too.
Also, it's kind of amazing how like going off routine throws teenagers into a dither, right? It's a little bit like, changing your grandpa's breakfast from oatmeal to cream of wheat.
Yeah.
Like they just can't, they have a hard time adjusting. So if every time they come in, they have a different leader, or every third week they have a sub, it's almost like having to reset
Yeah.
the next week when you're back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So, but we know that it's a lot. We know that our
It's a big
schedule
ask.
is
it's a big ask.
is frequent, and so that is why we have one big days, right? One big days are a strategic break because we don't like take time off over the summer, for example, like a big block of time. We try to sprinkle in one big days both on like holidays, so like
Yeah.
Memorial Day weekend,
Times where you
and-
typically be out.
yeah, where we know we'll need to get a lot of subs. Like, let's just not worry about that and let's just schedule something.
Yeah.
But also for you to kick your feet up one week.
Yeah.
Go to Connect Group.
And y'all deserve that.
Yeah.
And listen, not just our Connect Group leaders, like also our check-in folks and they don't get the benefit of one big day, but we do want them to be consistent and there as often as they can be. And when they're not there, they notice. When Mr. John is not at that front door, kids ask where Mr. John is.
Yeah.
Like they need that consistency, and that kind of dedication and that kind of presence really matters to them more than we think it does.
Speaking of the mail, I heard this.
That was like 20 minutes ago.
Hey, I had this transition locked in.
Okay, sweet. Don't let it go. Dog with a bone.
Speaking of the mail, I heard this one time, like the Pony Express, right? And the question is like, what's more important in the Pony Express? Is it the mail that needs to be delivered, or is it the pony in the Pony Express?
Yeah.
And a lot of people would say it's the mail, right? It's the connect group. Like, gotta be here. You gotta like do the lesson, do the thing, do the content.
Right.
But the person who's saying is like, actually, it's the pony. Because you got a dead
if the
pony.
If the pony goes down, everybody's down.
Yeah. And so the reason for the rhythm of breaks and rest is to give that to our leaders.
Give the pony a rest.
Yep.
We're going to give the dog a sleeping time. No.
Yep. So there you go.
That didn't work the way I thought it was going to.
Okay. One last thing that we're going to do in every single one of these episodes.
Okay, great.
Unless you had something else.
No, I didn't read the notes. I'm just following you, bro.
So one last thing we're going to do in every one of these episodes is we want to share like a funny story.
Okay.
And so we have a few, but we would love you to text us, add it to the group me, send us an email.
Yeah.
Our email for our show is darrens@crosscreekchurch.com.
That's also our email for everything on the planet.
So send them there, and we'll unbury these. Something funny a kid says in a connect group, and we'll reserve their privacy.
Right? Yeah. We'll change.
We're
the
not
sound
here
of their
to
voice.
like make fun of anybody at all.
We'll blur their face.
Yeah, but it's just really funny. Like, so for those of you in summer camp, we had the no student in a room by themselves rule. Right?
Yes.
And so I was staying in a room. I got the privilege of being able to be in a room with Tim and Zach and no kids and a private bathroom. So shout out to the private bathroom.
Yeah. Shout out to the room scheduler.
It still had mold
You're
in
welcome.
it, but it was
Yeah, but it was your mold.
my mold.
It was private mold.
It was actually not my mold. It was someone else's mold. So it's fine. I only used it once. But also...
Wait a minute. Does that mean you only showered one time at summer camp?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's right.
That's so gross, Clayson.
Bro, that is goals right there.
I
Have you seen those showers?
I haven't.
That's
'cause
goals.
I was in a hotel
So,
room.
anyway, in addition to my private bathroom, there's a wall on a foundation that is failing. And so there's a crack the size of the Nile River beginning to build there. So when you're in the bathroom, you think it's private, but...
Not really.
You can hear everything.
If somebody wanted to see, they could.
So I'm in the bathroom, but I'm the only person in the whole cabin. And I hear the door open into the front room, and I hear a student go, "Is anybody in here?"
It's like,
Yeah, and like...
I'm not saying anything.
Even if I wanted to be kind in that moment, I couldn't. Like, I was the only leader in that. That's what I was.
Yeah, you were the only leader.
The only leader in that
room.
room.
Needed to be two leaders, so
And
you're
so,
safe.
yeah, and speaking of number two, so then...
Gross.
Actually, probably not. Had you seen that?
Okay, can we
food?
move forward? They keep going.
So then they leave, and I was like, oh, great, they listened. Well, then 5 minutes later, this kid pulled Eli Harvell and Kaylor Moore out of the lake. So they were in there, both of them, no towel, completely sopping wet, with their life jacket on, dripping water on the floor. This kid said, like, I think he was like, I need to just grab something.
Right.
But then I think he had plans to just hang out.
Yeah. They're like, hey, we're doing
They're
something.
like, we're in the middle of lake time. And so...
Also, shout out to those guys, because that was a heft to walk all the way back up and go to the dorm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, wait, Nick, you're in here? That when they got there, that's what they said.
Yeah, I bet
Those
they
were the
did.
words they said.
I am now.
So, shout out to those guys.
Yep, love it.
But, well, hey,
What's our sign off going to be?
I don't know.
Hey, give us a good sign off.
Yeah.
Shoot us a text or throw something in the group me chat.
But for now, we'll just crash land this plane and say
Yeah.
goodbye.
Love you. Bye.